Hello, and welcome back to Owens Bay. This week's episode is going to be slightly different. It's essentially just a detailing episode, finishing off this section of the map before we move back into the city of Queensport proper. It's going to be a pretty chill episode, not a lot of commentary, I don't have a lot to say, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. My name's Geifs, and let's get started. So for this episode, we're going to just finish off the detailing of this part of the map, this industrial area, the highway, just linking it up, making everything look like it belongs together. Just filling in the area as we move back into the main city of Queensport. I don't have too much to say in the first half of this video. It's going to be just a lot of detailing work, tying all the landscapes together, make sure it all fits and looks cohesive. Later on in the episode, as we get closer to Queensport and the rock quarry, I'll have a little more to say, but for the first half, it's going to be pretty mellow, pretty chill, so yeah. On the edge of the map here, it's all I'm really doing is putting down some surfaces and putting in some trees, tying these different parts together so make them look like they are part of the same landscape. Before you do it, if you look at it right now, it doesn't look cohesive. That's going to be the word of the day, cohesive. And The trick here is just to bring everything together in such a way that it looks like it's part of the same landscape. Felt like we needed something a little more down here, so we're going to put down the muscle car garage, and I'm just going to do some light surface detailing here to tie it in with the rest. So we're just going to extend the paved surfaces out. Just use some surface decals here to break up this pristine surface, so we'll make it look older, make it look like it's been here for quite a long time. The trickiest part of this first half of the video is detailing around these the electrical pylons here. I always find these things really difficult to tie into the surrounding landscape. They always look extremely awkward. Essentially, in the real world, the area directly below them would be cleared of trees at all times. You might get small bushes and stuff like that growing, but they're not going to allow full-grown trees. The idea here is essentially right under the electrical wires. It's going to be fairly clear, and then we're going to use edging of trees and bushes along the sides here to essentially frame it. Also using surfaces here just to indicate that like the grass under here is drying out. It's late summer, so things are getting a bit parched, and these disturbed areas of ground here would be the first areas to start to dry out. And I'm using a path there like for an access road so maintenance trucks can get into the area. Now here on this hillside here, it's just a hill. This texture I'm using, you can see if you use it over a large area, you get these repetitive patterns. For any kind of natural landscape, you want to minimize that as much as possible. As soon as you see a pattern in what's supposed to be a natural landscape, it automatically looks artificial. I'm layering up more surfaces on top of it to try to break it up a little bit, break up the edge as much as possible. And using the trees to further just break up their repetition so it's not as obvious. train station. In front here I have way too much parking. It never gets used, so we're gonna trim off a bit of it. Keep this pretty simple here out in front of the train station. It's just going to be a large grassy park. No real reason to hang out in it. It's just an area people walk through to get to the station. The main commuter road through the town here. For the detailing along the edge of it, the businesses and stuff, it's going to be that kind of like strip mall aesthetic in a lot of suburban towns and stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of detailing here just to break up some of the monotony of some of these flat paved surfaces. wasn't really sure what to put in this little chunk of land here, so what I decided on was a little farm, a remnant of what this area might have looked like in the past. This little section down here, we're a little closer to the actual city of Queensport, so I'm putting in a little housing development here. Rather, they're all kind of cookie cutter type houses, nothing too exciting. Typical suburban sprawl. This fire here had me worried at first because it looked quite large. It looked like it was going to burn down the whole area. See the fire truck coming up right now to put it all out. But yeah, the new fire graphics look a lot more intense than the old ones. For this section down here, the idea I'm kind of going for is this is obviously an office park. This land is basically meant for office buildings, so there's some empty lots here along the tracks. They being sitting empty for some time. So they at some point were cleared off in anticipation for some sort of construction. That didn't happen, and now they're just slowly growing back in. Okay, so pay attention to the intersection here. Watch this car coming up. What exactly did that car hit? I want to know. It's like it was slowing down for an intersection. Now it's like 50 feet in the air. Dramatically increase the population right around this area, so I need to expand this school. As I said in the previous episode, for this particular town, we're only putting in elementary schools, no high schools or any higher education than that. There's more than plenty of educational opportunities in the city if the citizens need it. The reason I'm doing this is I need a pool of undereducated citizens to fulfill certain job requirements. Something a little different for this transformer station. I wanted it to be essentially just a little larger. This might be a major electrical hub for the actual city of Queensport. So I'm just going to use some of the prop versions of these assets to essentially expand it a bit, make it a little bigger. This seemed like a perfect location for essentially another strip mall. We're also going to be connecting up the backside of this train station here so people can gain access from this side. I don't know how I feel about what I built up here. These buildings do seem a bit large. My thinking here is this might have been city-owned land, and when the train station was built, the city sold this area to developers to essentially increase density. We could imagine there was a huge city council was filled with angry people about all these large buildings being built up on the hillside. It's also peculiar how all the big windows are facing directly into the electrical transformer, and on the backside there's no large windows looking out at the nice mountain landscape. Development here behind it is a water reservoir, and usually those are protected land spaces with no development on them, just to protect the water quality. I'm also going to sneak in a little bit more suburban housing down here. We can imagine that the large towers are starting to encroach on this older neighborhood of single family homes. Okay, the rock quarry that was causing so much issues in the last episode. I put down a ore mine temporarily, but we're going to redraw in the rock quarry here. In order to avoid that problem with that large machine I had in the last episode, I'm going to keep it fairly small. And what I'm going to do is just draw in a surface texture here to fill in the entire area to make it look larger than it actually is. Now I've already done a pretty highly detailed rock quarry, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. What I'm doing is just using surfaces to tie in some of the edging here so it blends a little better. Using a lot of the rubble piles, the concrete rubble piles, and the boulders here on the bottom surface. It looks like they've changed the ore surface texture here a little bit. I remember this being very flat and uninteresting, so it definitely has more detail now. But as you can see, things just disappear on it. So we're going to draw in some extra surfaces underneath them to essentially be able to see some of the details a little more clearly. have to say, I didn't spend a whole lot of time detailing the rock quarry and the supporting industries around it, but I'm quite happy with how they turned out. For next week's episode, we're going to return to a more standard format. For this detailing work here, I didn't really have a whole lot to say about it. It's the type of detailing work I've done many times before. It didn't really fit into one of the other episodes, so it's kind of sitting here as its own standalone thing. This isn't going to be like the norm going forward. Next week's episode, we won't be moving back into Queensport quite yet. I have a couple more projects that need to be completed, tying up some loose ends. Like we have a rapid transit system that's just at a dead end in New Sunderland, so we have to figure out how to connect that over to Queensport. And there's a little bit of connecting area just outside of Owens Bay that needs to be finished off as well. So that's going to be the main focus for next week's episode. Last few loose ends wrapped up before we actually get back into Queensport, but it is coming. Really no avoiding it anymore. We will get there. Now for the ground earth factory here, for what it actually does, working with crushed rocks and minerals and all that, it's way too clean. So I'm going to add a few extra details to it here in the back end, and we're just going to dirty it up a little bit so it looks more appropriate for its actual function. And that brings us to the end of this episode. I know it's been a bit of a quiet one. Not going to be the norm moving forward, but just for this particular week. Anyway, I will see you all next episode. Bye.